Welcome to the Palace of Megapixels. This is Super Mega Grand Brothers Turbo.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Super Mega Crash Brothers Turbo. I'm your host, Stephen White, and with me is, as always, Todd Stark.
Hello, hello.
We've got a very special guest today, Kouen Hasuki. Did I say that correctly?
Yes, indeed, you did.
Awesome. I was making
you're
sure.
Good. Most people get that wrong.
I was hoping I'd nail it. Sometimes I struggle with names on this podcast from time to time. Kouen is a Twitch streamer. Kouen, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
So tell everyone a little bit about yourself, if you would, please.
Really honestly, weird enough, there's not that much to tell. I was actually just an ex-YouTuber coming from London, moved overseas and all that. And basically, I became a Twitch streamer due to the fact that trolls destroyed my YouTube channel. So that's how I made it to Twitch.
Wow. Wow, that's
the story of it. So like, yeah.
Damn trolls.
Yeah, always some trolls, man.
They're like tearing planes and Twitch channels up.
Yeah.
Or YouTube channels.
Yeah, that was an interesting situation, interestingly, because of the fact that trolls basically sent off a load of copyright flags and hate speech flags on game review videos of all things.
Yeah.
And there was informal ones, but there weren't anything that we would have done anything bad. So then YouTube never got back to us and was like, we're out script. We'll go to Twitch then. Seems like more fun anyway.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah. Now, what actually got you into streaming in the first place, whether it be on YouTube?
Actually, interesting enough, I was working alongside Kiss Limited because press contacts and such like that, and I actually helped one developer actually get his game on Steam by contacting Kiss Limited, and got them talking, and they published his game. And they said, "Oh, by the way, the guy you was helping, by the way, his game's being streamed by the streamer called Indie. You should definitely go check it out if you like." And they sent me a link, so when I watched Indie, and then we chilled out, chatted, and before night I was a Twitch streamer as well.
Nice.
God dang it.
Always something. How long have you actually been a fan of video games?
Basically, yes, would be the good answer.
Always?
Since as long as I can damn remember, starting with, because I'm hailing from Europe, we used to have like old 8-bit computers with like tape drives, so we had to load games off audio cassettes.
Mm-hmm.
So these youngsters these days can play about 10-second load times. They need to go back to where I started, when we used to wait 10 minutes to load one level.
Absolutely.
And God help you if you fucking died. Oh, God. All the way back to the start, load it again.
Yep.
Now, was there ever a game that you remember growing up that you remember the most fondly?
Yes, there's actually quite a few. The biggest two that comes to my mind would probably be R-Type on the Sega Master System and Wonder Boy 3.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't they just remake that or re-release it or something like that, Wonder Boy? Or am I thinking of another one? I feel like
they did actually re-release that.
They did, yes. That's what I thought. It looks very, very good. I mean, just the re-release of it. I've seen the old one, but I never played it. But the re-release looks awesome. So I like the art style they did on that. Now, how did you personally get introduced into the Epic community?
Really interesting story there. I was actually Twitch streaming Persona 5 on my channel. Just doing my usual thing and whatnot else. And Mammoth came and raided me because he saw I was also streaming the game, and we had about the same sort of viewer base level, numbers-wise. And he just came and raided, and I was like, "Oh, thank you very much." In fact, I mispronounced his name completely at the time because I didn't realise it was Mammoth EU, so Mammoth EU, so I think I called it. Oh boy, I remember that one. And yeah, we ended up chilling, and I like to check out other people's casts especially, so I checked out his and chilled out in his, and it's been going ever since like that, really. And then he said, "Well, have you ever considered applying for Epic?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, maybe, And before I know it, there I am, basically.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
With Space Cat and everything else, and Lacia, and I'm just like, okay.
Right. Now,
those individuals, but hey, we've got to love them.
Right. Now, you were kind of mentioning trolls earlier. I was going to ask you what you encounter as a problem with, as far as streaming goes. Are trolls still a problem now? or just not as bad, maybe?
Actually, interestingly, not as much as you might expect. I get the occasional usual ones, with the troll names or whatnot else, and they come in. I think the worst one I ever had was probably when I was playing Fallout 4, and they came in and spoiled the ending.
Mm-hmm.
As I was playing, and that did actually stop me from playing it for a good while. But other than that, it's not been too bad. The worst infestation other than that was one time I was playing Dark Souls, and they all just tried to bundle in, and then my bots were just going ban, 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 ban.
Right. Now, as far as being a streamer goes, do you have any long-term goals for being a streamer? And did you have some back on YouTube?
Back on YouTube, really, honestly, was just to have fun and entertain, and it's really not changed all that much, to be honest with you. The way I've been treating my cast is quite an odd approach maybe to most, but it's a chill cast, and I like to think of it as it's a bunch of friends sitting on the couch, like on a Sunday afternoon, playing a video game, just chilling and chatting. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of how I've treated it. I've always been doing it more for fun than anything else, more to just, as a social experience. People can come together, have fun, get to know each other, and relax. And it's really been kind of working for me, even though I've turned right into a niche streamer, which is kind of odd, but hey, it works for me.
Yeah, if that's what makes it happen, go for it. That's awesome. Well, Kouen, it's great to have you here. We're going to get into our first little segment here, and we'll ask you first, what have you been playing?
Very, very, very recently, Grand Theft Auto 5 roleplay, which is an unfortunate addiction of mine. Playing a character called Kouen Hasuki, who's a very messed up individual with a wolf head. I've long story on that one. In fact, he's about to get married, which is even weirder.
I've actually seen some of those the role playing streams. I wasn't quite sure how that was working at first, but it is interesting how that goes about. So I kind of like that.
Sounds cool.
Yeah. Todd, what have you been playing?
I've been playing Call of Duty, World War II. Mm-hmm. Surprisingly, the story is really good. It's usually pretty good.
Yeah.
This one, they took it up a notch.
Nice. Well, I've really been hammering down on Injustice 2. I've just gotten into a what do you call it?
Multiverse?
Yeah, I've been really trying to gain all the, build my levels and get the gear and stuff like that. It's just become a habit all of a sudden, and I don't know, I'm kind of digging it. But I did get to play something new last night, and you're going to be excited, Todd.
What is it?
I got to play 7 Days to Die.
Did you like it?
It was interesting. It was a little laggy, but that might have just been my connection.
That game is fun. It sucks at the beginning.
Game I've played in a while.
It was a first for me. I'd never tried it, but I got a code for it, and I was just like, all right, well, I'll give it a go.
That game is rough at the beginning until you start.
The very first thing I did, stupidly, is I jumped off something and broke my leg, so I had to limp my way to my friends. I was like, help me. And they were a good long distance away from me.
Oh, yeah. It's crazy.
So, did you get chased down by the dogs?
Oh, my God. Dogs are the worst.
I didn't encounter any dogs. I got attacked by a bird.
Bears suck.
But no, I saw birds, I saw zombies, and it was hard. And I even got, I think by the time I reached my friends, I was infected with, what did I get infected by? I don't remember. I had an infection, and we were scrambling just to find me antibiotics. It was like we all had something, but we couldn't cook them. And it was just like, why am I'm just destined to die. It's ridiculous. But it was still fun for the little time I played it. All right. Well, now we're going to move into our news. Kouen, anything you want to chime in on, by all means. All right. Our first bit of news. Our first bit of news is surrounding everyone's favorite story, Star Wars Battlefront 2. The game continues to be slammed with controversy even after its first week of release. Firstly, the Metacritic score has dropped substantially from its 79%, I believe is what it was originally, that we'd said last week, to now 66%, and its user score has dropped to 0.9, and is now the worst received AAA title of the year, going below two other ill-received games, Mass Effect Andromeda and Ghost Recon Wildlands. Secondly, following up on the loot box gambling controversy, Belgium's Gaming Commission has now declared loot boxes gambling since it can be classified as a mix of money and gaming. They argue that their decision is relevant by saying mixing gambling and gaming, especially at a young age, is dangerous for the mental health of a child. Belgium's Minister of Justice, Kouen said that he will be working to remove any and all in-game purchases that involve luck, such as loot boxes, and have them banned. Hawaii and the state of Victoria have also joined into the throng of governments who have voiced their concerns about the practices of loot boxes and gamings and are pursuing their own set of guidelines, calling these practices predatory. It was noted that they're more focused on pay-to-win aspects, not necessarily skins or virtual currencies, but will consider them in the future. I'm going to have to say right there, considering skins as a pay-to-win thing, that's ridiculous. I don't think they should be pursuing those. If it's like Candy Crush or something like that, where you cannot proceed unless you pay to win, that's different.
Yes.
But if you're talking about skins or something like that, I'm going to use Injustice as a great example. I work for those pieces of armor and costumes because you get them as you fight. You know, it's not like it is kind of a random choice of what you get, so you don't really necessarily get what you want, but you get plenty of them. As long as you work for it, you're getting all you need. I've gotten so much, it's ridiculous. I don't even use half of it.
Does the armor help you?
It can, yes. Now,
Okay.
it's one of those things that it help you in the multiverse portion of it, but it's not a pay-to-win thing.
Well, I think when they say that and talk about skins, if a skin has a certain ability,
Right.
and you get it, and helps you win from that perspective,
Yeah.
I guess that could be pay to win. I think what they ought to do if they want to get around this whole loot box and luck thing is just tell what's in the damn box,
Yeah.
and then put a price on it, and then have different bundles.
It could help.
Yeah,
But-
I don't like the luck part either because you always get screwed. You buy 10, you get one good thing.
And maybe perhaps if they did something along the lines of the better you play, maybe you're entitled to better gear. But still, that's
Yeah, a lot.
it's a little iffy.
Yeah, then it could possibly exclude some players.
Right.
Then it's still a bit of a problem, yeah.
Because you definitely have those people out there who are cheating. You
Yeah.
know they're cheating. However they do it, they're finding a way, loopholes or whatever, and they'll exploit it. So I don't know.
I've got a
Rather like
confession.
using a keyboard and mouse on, say, the console version of Overwatch as a good example, which has been another controversy a while back, where a lot of the console players were actually complaining about people using Cronus Max devices.
Yeah.
Ironically, I have one, but not for that purpose. And they've been using the keyboard and mouse, which obviously, as you know, as PC games as well, it gives you that fast accuracy with the mouse to look around and shoot. And obviously, when you got stuck with a controller, it's quite a disadvantage because you got that time where you have to wait for the actual camera to pan.
Right. Now, on the flip side of things, a financial analyst, Evan Wingren, stated that all the controversy was an overreaction. He said that games aren't overcharged, they are undercharged. I will say that I've made kind of similar arguments where, I feel like some games are being undersold. That's why you have Ultimate Editions that cost $100 because you're getting so much. And at some point, they have to undersell these games because, they know they're going to get their money back eventually. But at some point, consumers have to understand what they're being given. I think it's the same with movies and stuff like that, where you see ticket prices go up all the time. There's a lot of inflation. They're putting $300 million into a movie, and they've got to get their returns back somehow.
Right.
So how are you going to do that? Granted, there are DVD sales and stuff like that, but they're losing money. They have to find a way to get it back. So with games, I feel like the way they're doing it, the fact they're sticking to a $60 price tag right now is fair.
Yeah,
But
and a lot of games are $39, $19.
Yeah.
They're not all $60.
No, and if you were kind of with the argument we've mentioned before, where you pay, say, if you paid $60 for a 2-hour game, yeah, I could see that kind of feeling like a bit of a ripoff. But it depends on what you're getting out of it, I guess. I don't know. I don't know if I'd really pay that for a 2-hour game.
No,
but
no.
Just saying, they all feel like they're priced accordingly based on that. And I even feel like that he kind of points that out. I think I actually wrote it down. He said, according to Wingren, he said he spoke mostly in terms of finances. The handling of Star Wars Battlefront 2, launched by EA, has been poor. Despite this, KeyBank Capital Markets view the suspension of microtransactions in the near future as a transitory risk. EA themselves downplayed the seriousness of this response to the controversy, saying that the temporary removal of microtransactions, which they did last week, is not expected to have a material impact on EA's fiscal year in 2018. Wingren does say that there is a slightly higher probability that Battlefront 2 won't hit the 13 million sales unit forecast in the result of the controversy. I would probably agree with that too. But he says he doesn't blame microtransactions. Rather, he says that the saga has been a perfect storm of overreaction that involves EA, Star Wars, Reddit, and certain purist gamers / journalists / outlets who dislike microtransactions. He goes on to argue that the 1 hour of video game content is still one of the cheapest forms of entertainment if you break it down to the value to cost per hour. And I think that kind of, enforces what we were just saying.
Right, but if you got to pay to win, that's...
Yeah, absolutely. So in that regard, the way they've handled this has been...
shit.
Yeah. So I don't even think feeling like they've taken out the microtransactions at the moment is going to do it a lot of good. They burned a lot of people, and I'd still would like to play it, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I'll ever buy it outright right now. It'll probably be one of those I'll see for a discount later on down the line. Yeah.
That's almost bought Battlefront, the first one like that.
Budget conscious, about it. Because, I've always taken the mindset of, well, the price is a good price per hour, which is a lot what people scale on. I always usually go by the experience I get, because there's some games I paid what a lot of people might seem over the odds for a 2-hour experience. But it's been such a great experience that I'm like, you know what, I'm fine with that cost. But then there's other times where I've picked up a game and it's just like deadly long, like Kingdoms of Amalur.
Mm-hmm.
That game never ends, and I got sick and tired of it. And it was, when it released, like $60 game, and I was just like, oh god. So sometimes I feel it's not only the amount of content, but also the experience behind the content, because you can have as much content as you want, but if it's not going to be interesting, it's still lost.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
Yeah, the inflation of the dollar also helps, because don't forget that the dollar's, the changing in currency and how much it's worth, and we get stuck in our mindset. Well, back in my day, it used to cost $40 for this game, and now they cost $60. Not forgetting that the dollar inflation, it costs more dollars these days for the same product, and it's not because they're valued more, it's just it seems more because the number's higher.
Right, exactly. And I think we've even kind of mentioned that before. No one ever considers that. So, and the fact they've been probably stuck at $60 for how long now?
At least 10.
At least 10 years?
Yeah.
It's surprising.
Yeah. I mean, they could easily say, you know what, we have to sell this at, $80, $100 because if this is what you want. But they do. They break it down to make it affordable for everybody. And I still feel like they sell them at a loss many times.
Yeah, I mean, especially games like, Grand Theft Auto, it cost probably a couple $100 million to make that game.
Yeah. With
the amount of people they got on it.
Mm-hmm.
And they get their money back from the sales, I think.
Yeah.
Being the highest, selling game, stuff like that. They don't really push microtransactions, even though they're there.
Yeah,
but they don't push them.
That's a smart move, though, to have them there, but you're not pushing it, because even in Justice, they have them there. You can buy crystals and things like that to help you level up your characters, but it's not a necessity.
Right.
I don't feel like that I have to do that to get anywhere. I've worked myself to get to the levels that I want.
Right.
So, and some of the characters I don't really care. They're just not worth leveling up. Yeah, so exactly. It's just fun to just say, this is the character I'm going to work on, and I'm going to do it. So it really depends on how they handle it. EA's doing a terrible job, and funny enough, our next story still revolves around EA.
Because they are shit.
And what they've done. Battlefront 2 isn't the only game EA is having to pull from the fire. The player base for FIFA 18 is boycotting the game until EA fixes the game's Ultimate League system, which has long been a massive and time-consuming ordeal to encourage people to spend money in microtransactions.
Right, exactly.
I've never heard this, but this is fascinating, I guess.
Same thing with Madden Ultimate Team.
Yeah.
I've got a friend that spent $4,000 on that shit.
Good Lord.
Yeah, didn't even realize it.
Just one of those, I'll pay $5 here, $5 there to be fine.
Yep.
Every weekend, FIFA 18 has a 2-day special event in which players compete for the best prizes. It's called Weekend League, and the event prizes are so good that over 6 million players fight for a spot at the Weekend League. The problem is EA requires you to play at least 40 matches over the weekend, which amounts to about 13 hours of game time, not counting downtime or any actions done in between matches. Now, this brutal time commitment is designed on purpose, and it requires you not to lose out on a single match of the 40 in order to reap the best benefits. Other game modes offer meager rewards in comparison, encouraging players to either spend 1/4 of their weekend on FIFA or pony up the cash. As a result, the community has finally had enough and are boycotting both on the Black Friday sales and the Weekend League until EA addresses the problem. Now, as of writing this piece, over 20,000 players are boycotting and demanding changes around the implementations of packs and the long time investment that's required to play, whether it be in time or money. Making matters worse, there are several users complaining of the arrogance from the developer side. Apparently, some of these systems, like the defender automation and the goalkeeper behavior, have been altered post-launch, changing the way the game plays and feels. Although this issue has supposedly been brought up in several times, the dev team refuses to make changes. Now, the bottom line is that the community is fed up by the way they've been treated, and both players and consumers are frustrated. Besides all of the other time-specific problems, 40 matches, 13-hour weeks, or 13 hours a weekend do seem like a preposterous amount of time to spend on something meant to be entertainment. Yeah, that's I can't get behind that. EA, that's 2 for 2 that they're doing. And didn't FIFA just come out like a week or so ago?
Something like that. And they get voted worst company every year.
And they don't seem to understand why.
No, they don't care. They're making money.
Yeah. Well, that's always going to be the bottom line too. Is as long as people are ponying up that cash, they're never going to care. They'll be like, well, people are paying. And I think we kind of mentioned that last week before, where you see the uptick in microtransactions. They're still there.
Oh, yeah.
So there's only a small percentage of people complaining. They make their voice heard, but people are still paying the money. So you're never going to stop it as long as people continue to do it. So, I don't know. EA, I feel like this should be the black eye that's going to really hurt the company, but something tells me they're going to continue to move strong in the future. I don't see any slowdown.
Yeah. Where they're going to just say, oh, we're so sorry, we won't do it again, we've learned from this experience, we're moving on, and oh, by the way, we've just announced in the next one, and by the way, they're going to change it a little bit, maybe reword it. It's more marketing.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah. They reword it and make it sound like it's something positive, when in fact it's actually something fairly negative.
Yeah. I can, yeah.
Right. You go, so these microtransactions, everyone says, oh, we're sick of these microtransactions. They go, oh, no, these aren't microtransactions anymore. They are in-game perks or something that you can unlock.
Mm-hmm.
For just $9.99, you could have an extra XP boost or something.
And that's exactly what they'll do.
That's usually what it's called, rewording.
Whatever it takes for them, I'm sure.
Loot crates will be like bundle boxes.
Yeah. Yeah, this is not a loot crate. Not a loot crate at all.
Not a loot crate at all. No. You ain't paying to win.
Or it's a happy box or something.
Yeah.
But it costs 50 cents to play.
There's all the joy inside. Yeah. Well, anyway, next story. Marvel and Foxnext Games are developing Marvel Strike Force, which is a new mobile RPG releasing in 2018. The game tasks players to assemble a team of the most powerful Marvel heroes and villains to battle side by side against one of the biggest threats the world has ever seen, Ultimus, a Kree warlord who is jumping from one dimension to another, conquering every version of Earth along the way. Marvel Strike Force will utilize turn-based combat where you can play at your own pace, with an emphasis on team strategy and squad synergy. There will be about 70 different characters to play upon release, including Defenders like Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Guardians of the Galaxy like Groot and Drax, many of the Avengers. Solo heroes like Night Nurse, Doctor Strange, Quake, and Spider-Man will also be available in the game as well. Additionally, every character will have unique gear and ability that can be upgraded to improve their strength and unlock new tactical options. Now, I find this funny that this follows on the heels of Marvel Heroes being shut down.
Yeah.
I'm kind of wondering if this wasn't Disney saying, you guys are done, we're just going to push this new game into the front. Because there was no word on Marvel Heroes. I mean, I heard there were, things that were time-consuming for them, and they were struggling to keep up, but it was almost like, well, we've got this new thing coming, so you guys we're done with you.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the next big thing.
Well, it's just like Avalanche Studios and their whole, what was that, Disney, what was the toy stuff they had?
Oh, the Disney Infinity?
Yeah, and then they got rid of that overnight.
Yeah, that was
one morning woke up, hey, we're getting rid of it.
Mm-hmm. And they had so much they could have done with that. Star Wars, Marvel, all their Disney characters.
Yeah. Oh, they did. They said they had a warehouse full of Hulk trophies.
Well, Who wouldn't want to play as the
It's funny
Hulk?
you should say that. I've got a store near me who's still got tons of those, and they're trying to get rid of them for like such a cheap price, and there's no point touching them because it's not going to do anything anymore.
They're just collectibles now, if anything.
Put it on your shelf.
Mm-hmm. And they're really not even collectibles.
All of a sudden, all the homeless kids playing with the Hulk.
Yeah.
We just gave him
Look
away.
at this. He's on a little, aren't they like on little discs or something
Yeah,
like
they're
that?
on a little base.
We'll make him hop around on his disc.
He's cool. He's mad.
fine.
Look, smash.
Next story is in 2013, Project Phoenix launched on Kickstarter with an initial goal of $100,000. The campaign ended up raising about 10 times that goal, resulting in just over $1 million raised through nearly 16,000 backers. Since then, Project Phoenix has yet to release, but backers have been given frequent updates on the progress of the game, which is a Japanese RPG. Now, the most recent update of Project Phoenix Kickstarter goals gave all of its backers a chance to try out a demo of another game called Tiny Metal. The former PR manager, Tarek Lacey, took to the official Project Phoenix Facebook and posted a lengthy letter detailing how Project Phoenix's developers' Creative Intelligence Arts was created solely to fund Tiny Metal, then shut down and became Area 53 as it's known today. The Facebook post has since been taken down, but Lacey claims that Hiroka Yura, CEO of both the former Creative Intelligence Arts and the now Area 53, ordered him to deflect any accusations that the funding was from anyone but private investors. One of the most recent updates for Project Phoenix from August earlier in the year lends credibility to this possibility. Hiroka Yura notes that the team had been working on another project to secure a large investment for Project Phoenix. It remains to be seen what's really going on or not, but we will update this as we see it. There was a statement that was released to Kotaku that claims that Tiny Metal's initial investment came from a group of investors from Australia. This wasn't enough to finish development, so the rest came through a deal with Sony Music Entertainment. In addition, Yura claims that the post was posted by a staff whose contract had been bought out due to him being a toxic employee who was sexually harassed by our female staff, amongst many other problems.
Well, wait. Sexually harassed by the female staff?
Oh, sexually harassed our female staff.
Oh.
I'm sorry. Let me rephrase. He sexually harassed our female staff.
He must be a fine mother.
Sorry. Yeah. After I got done saying that, I was like, I didn't say that right.
Hashtag me too.
Yeah. Now, the post is factually incorrect and thus was deleted from our account. That's what the man suggests. However, Tarek Lacey had also jumped on there and denied sexual harassment allegations. But I think the main story here is that this Project Phoenix, the company behind it, they were laundering money, or they were at least ripping people off.
And then they put out another game.
Yeah.
Hopefully to
Counter
get it
that.
started. Yeah, counterbalance.
Yeah.
Maybe work on. I don't know. What was it called? What was the game
Project
called?
Phoenix.
Project Phoenix.
And I feel like this gives a black eye to Kickstarter campaigns,
Yes.
because this is why people don't want to fund them. You know, unless you have a name behind them that people know and can trust, no one wants to get involved. That's the only reason I even got involved with Friday the 13th. Is the only game I've ever backed on a Kickstarter, is because I knew that there were people involved that I could trust. And I was like, okay, this will be fine. Because a name like that and the people involved, if something like that was to rip people off, you know, it's going to be big news. These are such a low-level developer, no one's ever going to notice. And as you can see, they got away with it. Or at least it's the way it seems, for 3 years.
Yeah.
4 years.
They was just buying cars and sexually harassing women.
Yeah, this guy. Of course, he didn't do it now. That's what he says.
That's what he said.
He didn't do it.
I bet his favorite magician is David Copperfield.
Oh, David Copperfield.
This kind of rings to me of being. Do you remember back a little while ago? Part of this reminds me of the incident with Colonial Marines, where it was still questionable where the money really went, because Sega were funneling Gearbox money, and Gearbox obviously just outsourced the game practically out to someone else, and then funneled seemingly the money into Borderlands 2 instead of actually putting it into Colonial Marines. But more so than that, it feels also like they'd bring up this sexual harassment part as maybe camouflage to kind of cover up the situation. Go, oh, but look at this instead. This is even bigger news. Pay attention to this.
And especially right now with the climate the way it is, you know, that definitely seems like a great cover, because it's coming out almost on a daily basis now, where somebody sexually harassed somebody. So that's a pretty good cover. I never thought about that. That's good.
Yeah, like give them a bigger story to focus on, and then hopefully everyone kind of forgets about the original one because they got so caught up in the new one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then by the time they already got it out in the clear, everyone goes, "What was the original thing about? How did it start?" And everyone goes, "I don't know."
They're pulling a Donald Trump.
Yeah,
And then-
sleight of hand. All right. Well, the next story I have is a little bit more on a lighter side since everything's been negative with the last one.
I was about to cut my wrist, dude.
Now, in the next few weeks, The Legend of Zelda Symphony of the Goddess will return to North America for additional dates, giving fans another chance to bask in its orchestrated glory.
Are you excited?
I am. This 2-hour performance is brought to life with a 66-piece orchestra and a 24-person choir, lending the appropriate levels of gravitas and scale to the songs of the Zelda franchise. The arrangements are chosen from the more recent entries in the series, with brand new compositions in rotation for Breath of the Wild. Of course, there are also nods to the more monumental games, I almost ruined that word too, from previous generations like Ocarina of Time and Link to the Past. The whole sweeping performance will be bolstered by a gigantic video montage playing behind the orchestra and the choir. The tour's first stop in North America will be on November 30th in Vancouver, British Columbia. From there, the show will be heading to Edmonton, Calgary, and then Montreal. Then it's off to Pittsburgh, New Orleans, Oklahoma City, and Salt Lake City. I went to a show in Nashville last year, I believe, in June. And if you are a fan of Legend of Zelda, if it's ever coming to your area, go. Because this is a phenomenal show.
Did they play the whole montage behind the thing when you went?
Yeah, they had the big video. And where I was sitting, it was perfect, too, because I was up on the balcony seats, and the screen was like right there in front of my face. So I could still see the orchestra in the bottom, but I could see the screen clear. So to hear it, to hear this music that you only kind of get in an 8-bit or 16-bit versions, and now they're just brought to life with a sweeping orchestra, it's so great.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's just phenomenal. It's great music already, and they just make it better.
Yeah, the Zelda has some great music.
Yeah, Koji Kondo, he's known for his good music, and that was probably one of his best scores.
Oh, Koji.
Yep. I'm glad he's still been doing it up to. I don't know if he did Breath of the Wild. I would assume maybe, but I'm not going to swear to it because I don't know.
Sure.
But I know he's done a wide variety, a good assortment of the Zelda games. So, but like I said, if you're a fan of Zelda, definitely go to that. It's definitely worth it.
Did they even cover the old Game Boy one on that one? That's what I'm curious about, because my favorite Zelda is actually Link's Awakening.
I do believe there was a bit, because I know they did that, and what was that? The Minish Cap. There was a piece from that they showed in there. So yeah, they definitely cover a lot of ground, even if it's in like a montage, because they would do montages sometimes, and it would just, if you didn't have the visual aid, sometimes it would make your brain have to think. It's like, I know that song, I know it, and then like Spirit Tracks. I remember there was a track from Spirit Tracks, and I was like, I know this tune, and I think it was the tune that plays when you're on the train, and I was like, oh yeah, that's it. So that's kind of fun too if you're doing it by visual, without visual aid, is trying to test your memory. It's like, do I know this? I know this. So
Koji Kondo did not have anything to do with Breath of the Wild.
Okay, well, fair enough.
But from what I understand, they still good. It's still got
his legacy is just fine.
Well, they're probably just not copying and pasting, but building on what he did.
Yeah. So anyway, our next little tidbit of news is Square Enix is set to announce a few major releases between April and E3. They're often known for keeping release dates of their biggest games under wraps for a long time, often defying expectations of fans that wait for these announcements at events or trade shows. Now, at the moment, the only major game awaiting a definitive release date would be Kingdom Hearts 3, since it was only announced that it was coming out in 2018. But I would say the other eagerly announced game that doesn't have a release window would be Final Fantasy VII, or the remake of Final Fantasy VII.
Well, are they still doing the episodic kind of
To my knowledge, that's still the plan. Now, as they kind of mentioned that as well, they also, during a quarterly conference call, mentioned that they were getting excited for the Nintendo Switch, wanting to be proactive in creating new IPs and rebooting older titles for the Nintendo platform. do they need to reboot an old title for the Nintendo platform? Because that seems to be a common theme here lately. You know, because we got, Skyrim just went to Nintendo Switch, and that game's been out for how long?
12 years.
Because I remember you playing that at your old house.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I guess if you're a diehard Nintendo fan and you've never played it, I guess it's good that you've got it, but at the same time, it's just one of those, everyone's played these games already, you know? Nice.
Or even Doom, for instance, being put on the Nintendo Switch.
It's just like it's been there.
In reality, I want the original Doom on my PS4.
No kidding.
I'm throwing it out there.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's good that they're being proactive toward the Switch. They're not, dismissing them. Kind of like what EA did during the Wii U era, because they ditched them like a bad hat, man. They were just like, oh, this is not selling? Okay, we're done.
One game didn't sell. We're out. We're gone.
They ditched them bad.
That poor console.
So, but fair enough. Yeah,
just like a little salute it off as it goes.
Because it did. It was
console, except for the Virtual Boy, I think.
Yeah, yeah. That would probably be the two failures at that company. Well, and the Power Glove. As far as
I wouldn't call the Wii U a failure, but it was definitely underappreciated for what it could potentially have done.
Well, they just didn't market that thing right.
No,
the message was all muddled, just kind of like the Xbox One when it first came out. Yeah, all just muddy water.
I mean, I did play it for a while, but at some point I was just like, "There's no games," and then I went and got a PS3 to counterbalance that, and I never touched it after that.
You are welcome. For that.
It collected dust, so I hate that it happened that way, and it's making me hesitant to buy a Switch, but I have heard good things about the Switch, but I still feel burned. So I'm hesitant, so hesitant.
Well, what I can't stand about Nintendo is at some point they just start getting a lot of shovelware, it feels like.
Yeah. And that's the problem here lately is you see a lot of these games coming to them, and it's either something that's been out for a while or it's something no one's ever heard of. And there's nothing wrong with these little indie titles, but are they, like you said, shovelware, or are they genuine, indie titles that need to be, noticed and represented?
Right.
Because I never see them anywhere else. Yeah. So that kind of, I don't know, raises a flag to me sometimes.
And they do have a few gems that come out every now and again, I mean, for example, No More Heroes.
Yes, when No More Heroes came out on the Wii, that was, oh my God. And that's actually the console seller for me right now for the Switch. The fact that they announced No More Heroes 3. Once I heard that, I was like, okay, well, I have to get this now.
But what if it comes to PS4?
Then I'm going to be a little hesitant and say, well, I've already got this console. I don't need to go buy this new one for this.
Well, they had stacks of them at Walmart during Black Friday. Like, nobody was getting them.
What,
the Switch? Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. $249.
Huh. That's a surprise.
The PS4, I seen everybody had those. I was surprised. I thought since the Xbox One X was out, you would see all those going.
Mm-hmm.
It was at least, I guess, 4-2. PS4 to Xbox One X.
But I think we've kind of noticed the uptick in sales for PlayStation here lately has been strong, and I think it's still going to continue to be strong.
They're selling out again right now. This is their 4th year.
And there's a lot of reason for that. They've got a lot of things going for them right now. They are the console leader for a reason.
Yeah, next year is going to be a solid lineup of games for them, starting in January with Monster Hunter.
Monster Hunter, and then followed up by Shadow of the Colossus.
And then you're going to have God of War probably in around the end of February, beginning of March, middle of March, and then you're talking Days Gone is going to be out sometime next year.
I would say summertime, if I had to guess.
They're going to have it right there in the middle.
It'd be a solid summertime.
It'll slow down for them around October, November, when all the big third-party games try to push for the holiday. They'll slow down their exclusives and get them ready for January again.
Yeah.
It's usually how they do.
Well, it'll be good. It's fine. The next little story I have, or last story for that matter, is Ubisoft previously revealed that its work in virtual reality with demonstrations of its Rabbids virtual reality ride. The company has now teamed up with an interactive company called Triotech to create a VR experience based on the Assassin's Creed franchise. The Assassin's Creed experience will be installed in the Ubisoft Center in Pointe-Claire, Montreal, Canada. Visitors to the center will use the VR to immerse themselves in a world of Assassin's Creed and a setup that will use the vast settings Ubisoft is famous for while taking up a small footprint as little as 10 square feet. There's a quote that says, "We have watched the evolution of virtual reality technology closely over the last few years. We feel that with this solution, we have a strong offering to the market when considering both content and technology, but most importantly, in the guest experience." This could be fun.
10 feet.
10 feet. I don't know how they're going to do that.
It fight your way out of this room, and then you go to another room?
You kind of have that with the PlayStation VR. You kind of limit yourself with a 10-foot, level. If you're careful.
Well, I guess Super Hot worked really good.
Yeah. So
do a game like that with Assassin's Creed. That could be fucking awesome.
That would be. I tell you what I want to see. I think the only thing I would really want to see with the Assassin's Creed VR is the dive.
The dive, and I want to go like this and see my wrist blade pop out.
The famous dive, yeah.
Yeah.
That dive would be. I would throw up in my living room floor.
Because you know that your head and your body would just be like, "Oh my God, what am I doing?"
And then you have to do the actual flip where he goes onto his back.
Yeah, right into the hay.
Into the hay.
And you just see all the hay just fall up on you. Oh, that would be awesome.
Get hay in your eye.
Confession time. I have never actually sat there and played much of any Assassin's Creed yet.
Really?
Despite owning at least 5 of them.
Well, that's fine.
I think I played 2 a fair bit, but not to a completion sort of level.
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing when I first did that move, I was like, "Oh, that's a pretty cool move. How comes I can still walk?"
Yeah.
I was expecting his back to be broken at that point.
How did he not break that wagon?
No matter how you're supposed to save me from dropping off a church.
Right. They must have like special powers that make them, they're lighter than air. When
assassins.
They are assassins.
God,
they're just quiet little people just hopping around.
Yeah.
Jumping into hay bales quietly.
With wrist blades.
With
I would jump and land in the hay, and my wrist blade would pop out, and I would probably stab myself. And I would be dead at the beginning of the game.
All I could just imagine was Ezio walking out like with his hunched over his face, going, "Oh God, I shouldn't have done that."
Yeah, like, what's wrong, Ezio? I stabbed myself with my damn wrist blade.
I can imagine that as well.
We're sitting here with Indy, head of the Indy Army team on Twitch. Indy, good to have you here.
I'm actually not the head. I'm the founder.
Oh, you're the founder. Sorry. See, I need to do a little bit more research. Now, you are here to promote your upcoming charity event called 12 Days of Indy. Is that correct?
Well, it's not really my charity event. It just happens on my channel.
Okay. Well, again, this is where I need to do my research a little bit more. Tell us about that and everybody else about 12 Days of Indy.
All right, so the 12 Days of Indy is a 12-day long charity marathon that happens on my channel at twitch.tv/Indy to benefit Toys for Tots. So it's 12 days long. It's nonstop. There's a ton of different broadcasters that get involved every year. We have partnered broadcasters. We have people that aren't partnered. It's mostly people from the Indy Army stream team.
Mm-hmm.
This is the 5th year, Kouen?
I think it's the 5th year.
Good Lord, that's a lot.
I've been part of 3 of them so far. Yeah.
Nice. Now, what actually led you to start doing this event?
To start doing charity streams?
Yes. This one in particular.
I had done some other charity streams before. Like, we've done a lot on this channel, on other channels, like to benefit pit bull rescues. What else, Kouen? There's been so many of them. I can't even.
Ataxia Canada was the one. We've done Stand for the Silent before. We've done there's a Rainforest Trust we've worked with before as well.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah.
There's been so many other ones. It was just like it ends up being like, which one should we do this time?
Yeah.
Right. and so the very, very first one was not on my channel. Was it on my channel? Jesus, it's been so long I don't remember. It's with Ambush Gamer.
Mm.
And with Beetle Bear, and so they were like, well, let's do this charity event for Toys for Tots. And originally it was kind of their baby, but then life happened with them, and they had a kid, and so the second year we couldn't contact them. So actually, the second year we did another charity event, the same thing, but we called it "How the Indie Ogre Saved Christmas." Indie Ogre is my channel's mascot.
Mm-hmm.
So we had "How the Indie Ogre Saved Christmas," but the year after that, then we went back to the 12 Days of Indie. We made sure and got all the permission from them, and still just kind of pushed that brand. So, that's I'd been doing charity events before, and they had reached out and wanted to do this, and I was like, yeah, that would be awesome.
Nice. Now with this one, did I hear correctly that you only stream indie games during this? Is that correct?
No.
Okay.
People stream whatever they want.
Okay. See, I thought there was
a lot of people say that just because my name's Indie.
Gotcha.
That was really how I got started. I streamed indie games, but then I kind of I just wanted to play whatever I wanted. So then I started playing whatever I wanted. But that was kind of how I got started. Was just I was focusing on indie games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that seems like it was a preconceived notion, because that's what I had heard, and I thought, well, that's kind of neat, but I just wanted to clarify. This is why we're doing this. Clarification.
Right. There's a lot of indie games to be played, though.
Mm-hmm.
Know that. I mean, there's always, I do, even on my channel now. Well, not this year. I haven't really focused on indie games, but actually at the beginning of the year, I'm going back to indie game focus.
Right. Now, what kind of
fun we've seen you playing these indie games? Dungeon Nightmares. I still won't forget that one for you.
Oh gosh. Fun stuff.
Now, within the 5 years you've been doing this, you said that you've not just done this, but a few other charity streams. Now, what kind of success have you seen in doing this? Like, has it taken off, or?
Some charity events really blow up, and some of them don't do as well, but it's never been in the negative. It's always been, we've always raised some money.
Good.
And some of the charity events have been just like me being involved on other people's channels, or I've done a 24-hour charity stream. Actually, I've done a couple 24-hour streams, but I'm not doing that ever again. 24-hour streams.
That's a long stream.
Yeah, that
my
seems
feet get all
exhausting.
swollen, but I mean, whether we've raised $100 or what was the most we raised one year? 16,000 for
Wow.
I think about 17. I think it was at 17 and a half.
Yeah.
Towards the
Which
end.
is not, I've seen some other charity events that raise, hundreds of thousands of dollars, but considering that some years we don't ever get over 100 viewers at a time, we do pretty good.
Yeah.
I feel like it.
Now, you mentioned kind of getting partners and everything in there. Have you seen that helps, or is it just something else that just kind of helps raise awareness to it?
Well, yeah, sometimes someone will come in and they will just raise a bunch of money in their time slot, but it also depends on, God, there's just so many factors, how much promotion we get, how people feel at the time. I've seen sometimes the most amount of money raised with the least amount of people in there.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
With
And
the
you want
least amount of viewers. Yeah.
Like with me a few times, like when I do something stupid, like, oh God, the Crash Bandicoot 3 challenge. I will never forget that one. To explain the Crash Bandicoot 3 challenge, it was during the 12 Days of Indie. I decided to play Crash Bandicoot 3, the original PlayStation version, because this was like 2 years back. And in the end, I ended up having to play it with the controller upside down, with my thumbs taped together, balancing a Husky plush on top of my head, stuck listening to Tiny Tim It's a Wonderful Life 10 minutes straight. And every time I died, I had to give away a fucking game. It's like, oh. And I was fine till the boss came up. I was like,
oh no, challenges help. Someone donates $5, you have to do something stupid. My challenges, I don't know if I'm going to do it this year, are usually...
Oh, you're going to do the food challenge again?
Oh God, I don't know. I have a blender. I have a food processor, and it'll be like for every $5, I'll put one ingredient in. And we've had some donations where I've had to put like beets and cheese and pickles and everything in, and then you have to drink it. I don't know if I'm going to do that this year because
open mouth gag.
That one year, though.
Yeah, I was like, I can't do this anymore, you guys. No more.
But
and then I think your boss at the time then did more anyway.
Yeah, and then he kept donating more. So that was kind of neat. It was fun, but not good on the gut.
Yeah, I could definitely see where that would kind of work in I guess the charity's favoring a little bit because obviously people are going to pay for that. They want to see that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, but people done stuff. Well, I've done stuff like makeup.
right.
I have my granddaughter put makeup on me, or people do different things. Some people sing.
I still have a picture of when they put makeup on you.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Now, with this charity, do you have like a? I don't want to say like a winning formula or anything, but do you have something that you make sure you have done every 5 years, or is there something you're trying to perfect with this to try to make it work?
Well, there's always like things that go wrong and lessons you learn from every time doing it. A lot of it has to do like behind the scenes. Sometimes there's internal issues that you have to work around, and sometimes try not to kill each other because it gets a little draining.
Right.
When you get toward the end of it, you're just like, God, I love doing this, but man, I wish it was over.
Mm-hmm.
And when it's over, you're like, yeah, that was awesome. But
what do I do now?
and one thing I do want to say is there's a lot of people that are working their butt off behind the scene. This year, I have, in the past couple of years, I really haven't done anything. I mean, I have done stuff, but I haven't, like, the people behind the scenes that are really working hard. There's Lolinia and Drawl. They are, like, taking care of the scheduling, taking care of the sponsors, doing stuff promotion. I mean, they are just doing so much behind the scenes right now. I mean, and I don't even know so much that's going on, but I will talk to them and they'll be like emailing all day. And so I really want to give those dudes shout outs because without them doing it, it wouldn't be happening this year because I don't have the time because I've been working full time. And, I mean, there might be workarounds, but for the past couple of years, those guys have really been working their butt off doing this.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Now, as far as
they, especially like last year and this year, they really came in to their own and whatnot else. And I think we've all been really working as a team because as a funny inside story there was a bit of turmoil at the start. No details we given, but it was like oh boy, here we go. Internal drama is always fun, but we await all that, and we actually work as quite a knit team these days, so it's always good fun. To be honest, we end up just having fun, just chatting half the time as well now.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Now, as far as who you've got streaming, do you actually have a set list of streamers that are going to be participating this year?
There is a set list.
Yep, there is indeed.
Let me pull it up here.
Okay.
It's actually in our 12 Days of Indie Discord.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Which should be open to the public in about, when it starts, it'll be open to the public. But we have a schedule written up, and there's actually a couple of people from Epic who are going to be taking part as well,
nice.
Which is going to be great.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got some people in there as well.
Now,
we also have a Thunderclap, too.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have the links to that stuff? I can't find those links to
schedule and stuff? Yes, I do. I can fire them over if you like after we're done here. If that works for you guys, or do I can get over right this
time. Definitely send me the links, and I'll put them in the links below, and our listeners can follow it there and find it.
Sounds good.
Perfect. So this
list isn't public, the schedule?
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
Since we've got a few more, we've got 1 or 2 slots left to fill, which will probably be filled up very shortly.
Right. It's usually the slots where Europeans are, usually when they stream, because since it's a Toys for Tots, which is an American charity,
right?
I guess I don't know if it's harder to get European people to stream. Kowen's streaming.
Yeah, I'm European. Well, I don't think it's more that. It's just more so that I've noticed there seems to be a lot more American streamers than there is European, it seems. Or it's just harder to find a European one.
Right.
Maybe we're just like a Yeti. We just don't know it yet. Right.
Well, this is
when I found a Japanese streamer, I was like, wait, what?
Well, this is taking place from December 1st to December 12th. Is that correct? Just make sure I got my dates right.
Right. It basically ends December 13th.
13th. Okay.
Because it will end at 11, 12, 1 p.m. Pacific time, December 13th, or 1 a.m. Pacific time, December 13th.
Got it. So
is that right? Am I wrong?
Details.
I believe it's correct here because it's taking place on Eastern time.
Oh, and it ends midnight on Eastern, so that means it will be
9 o'clock.
Yeah, you got it.
Time zone.
You got it.
Time.
Okay, so
Time,
from
brain, it's too early. I haven't had my coffee.
December 1st through December 12th, ending at midnight Eastern time on twitch.tv/indie. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Everyone listening, go check out and support this wonderful cause, if you would, please. I think this is a great thing that you guys are doing. Toys for Tots is a great charity, and I really hope that you guys can pull off some great numbers this year to support that cause.
Oh yeah, we always aim to do as best we can. Well, it's for the kids more than anything else. As much as I will admit, as much stress as it is, and as much as it does take it out of us personally. I mean, over the charity events, especially some of the charity events that we take part in, sometimes I end up doing over 30 hours.
Yeah.
Because, things happen, and people need to be covered. There's internal things that need coming up, tech issues, whatever it may be. And it is a lot of stress. And honestly, we lose a lot of sleep during, especially the team behind it. We lose a lot of sleep during those days.
Mm-hmm.
But it's all worth it in the end. Although I have to admit, when it's all over, when it's all done, you know what's funny? It's like, what do we do now?
Yeah. You kind of feel like this has been your whole life for 12 days.
And then it's like, what do I do now?
Go back to my normal stream?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, it's weird.
But it's all worth it in the long run, I'm guessing. So
It is all worth it. It is awesome. But we've done years where, because we've done it to my local Toys for Tots, where I went shopping and we videoed it, and we filled up. One year we filled up
7 shopping carts.
7 shopping carts of toys.
nice.
I videoed that one.
Yeah, it was awesome. We had I saw the Minecraft aisle, and I just was like literally pulling things off of the shelf into the cart. That was a blast.
Funny story
so
behind that one.
Yeah, so
when
this
the
year...
was it? No, the employee at the store said, "Do you work here or something?"
And I looked like I work at Toys for Tots or Toys R Us. But this year it's not going to be the local Toys for Tots. Toys for Tots finally has a Tiltify, so we're going to use Tiltify, and so that just basically goes to Toys for Tots, so it's not going to be directed at any in particular specific one this year.
That's good.
And it's going to make it easier on our end.
Yeah, I can
for
imagine.
The donations and stuff.
All right, listeners, well, go check this out. I'll post a link down below where you can find the schedules, find everybody that's going to be there. Guys, thank you so much for being here and supporting this and promoting it.
Yeah.
Please, guys, all listeners, go follow this. Go check it out. You got 12 days to do so.
Good luck, guys.
Take care, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Release dates for November 28th. We got Black Mirror for PS4, Xbox One, and PC. I've never heard of that. It sounds, isn't that a TV show?
Black Mirror.
Black Mirror?
I actually know, I think I know that one.
Yeah.
If it's the one that I'm thinking of, I think it's just a re-release of an older PC game, but I could be slightly wrong on this one.
I have to look at that.
Black Mirror.
Like I said, it sounds like a
Or is
TV
that
show.
Darkness Within?
Black
These
Mirror.
games blend someday.
I've never heard of it.
I haven't either.
I've said the name 3 times and it's just not ringing a bell.
It's not ring a bell. Also on November 28th, we got Resident Evil Revelations Collection for the Nintendo Switch. On November 30th, Little Witch Academia Chamber of Time for PS4. On December 1st, Doom VR for PSVR and Vive. Also on December 1st, Gear Club for the Switch and Xenoblade Chronicles 2 for the Nintendo Switch. I kind of want to play Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I was a huge Xenoblade fan on the Wii.
Yeah, remember.
I played that for a long time. I got sucked into that
fun of
game.
you.
That was one of those games where I think the score really kept me intrigued because the music was just so good that I just wanted to run around and do nothing but just run around just to hear the music, because it was so good.
Yeah.
I made a lot of fun of you for playing that game.
You did, but it was fun.
It's okay.
I actually had to hunt it down at a GameStop.
I went with you
You
to
did.
get that game. Yeah.
Because I think I'd rented it through GameFly, and I held on to it for so long, and I was like, if I'm going to keep playing this, I just got to go buy it. So, and GameStop was the only place to find it.
You still have it?
Yes, I do.
Wonder how much it's worth now.
I don't know, but I think you could probably sell it for a decent amount.
You should try. Yeah, you should do that.
I should.
And then
Do I still have it?
I
don't know. I'm going to
You
have
should
to
do
look.
it and take me out to dinner.
No, it's fine.
Okay. I'm just throwing that out there.
All right, now we're going to do a quick little special segment this week. We're going to rail off our Game of the Year list. Kouen, since you're our guest, go first. What do you have listed for your top 5 games of the year?
Sure. Okay, guys, would you like me to work upwards or downwards? What would you like to hear? Should we save my favourite for last?
Yeah,
did the favorite one for last.
Okay, then. So I'd say number 5 was Yakuza Kiwami. It's a game franchise I really wanted to really get into. It's basically Japanese mafia, but there's so much more to the game than what at face value. At first, it looks like one of your just average beat the crap out of people game, basically. But then you start playing it, and there's so much side content that actually really gives the world like an emphasis, and the facial animations and the detail they put in it actually really made it stand out to me. Like at one point, you're beating up people from the mafia to save a puppy, which actually does happen. And then next minute, you're at a cabaret club paying the girl to talk to you for some reason. And then you go wander off, and you actually take a part of slot car races. And then you go back to trying to take the other mafia. It's like, I love this game. And yet there's one dude chasing you around constantly, who I've nicknamed the Japanese Joker. And he just sneaks up behind you or around you just to fight you, because there's a storyline, I won't spoil it, but basically he's trying to get you back into shape to how you used to be after an event happens to you. And so he pops up, and I think the funniest one so far I've seen is you're standing at a square, and then suddenly he's wearing a cop uniform, he sneaks up behind you, goes, and he's like, oh God. So yeah, that's been a really solid game for me.
All right.
And I still have to get back to it, but other games to stream, and sometimes I'm just like, I want to play that one.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Then moving to number 4 was White Day, a Labyrinth Named School, which was a remake of a very cult classic Korean horror game. And it came out of the blue. I contacted P-Cube about trying it, and they got back to me. I've only been taking years to get them to talk to me. And they said, yeah, sure. And I sat there and just couldn't stop playing it. It's basically a White Day in like Asia is kind of like a bit like a Valentine's Day. It's where a guy will confess in love with chocolates or something else. And that's one of the reasons why you're there at the school. So late at night, you're going to leave some chocolates for someone you like there. And as usual, nothing goes according to plan. And it's just crazy. You get these janitors beating kids down. Like, literally, there's one kid that was in there. The janitor just beats them with a baseball bat and drags them off. And there's demons and seals, and it just goes like... But what I enjoyed the most about it was the intense feeling of, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God, please don't see me, please don't see me, please don't... He saw me, he saw me! And you run away. And there's a lot of jump scares, and there was a lot of interesting mechanics. For instance, you could go and play on easy, but a lot of the jump scares are removed, and more of the content only gets revealed the harder the difficulty actually is. So if you really want to get the full experience, you have to play on hard. And I actually came across that, and there is actually a Twitch clip of me jumping and almost, oh God, I damn near crapped myself on it. And there's this one part where you've got this little food tray. On normal and below, a little bit of food gets dropped on it, and that's it. And you're like, oh, okay. I played it on hard, and the little food drops in it, and I was just making a chuckle, and then a hand went whoop and nicked it. I was like, oh God, all right, I'm ready for you. Press it again. Food comes down, then a hand nicks it, and I'm like, yeah, see, uh-oh. And then the pan pans down, and there's this person, and he goes, ah! I mean, I was like, ah! That screams. I was like, yep, I'm done here. I'm done. We're leaving this room. But yeah, and that was actually a real surprise sleeper hit, because I'd never heard of White Day previously. And it's one I actually really recommend people check out. It's on Steam and PS4, as I recall.
Okay. Never have to look that one up.
So, number 3 will be Persona 5, actually. And it didn't get ranked higher because it was good, but the music wasn't there for me. It's like, damn.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was a really great game, but at the same time, the controversy that actually occurred around it, you guys probably reported on it back when it happened with the whole stream restriction, where you weren't allowed to stream past a certain point.
Yeah. Kind
of soured one or two of the points of the game for me, and I did stream all of it.
Did you now?
But yeah, that's kind of soured the point to me, and some of the music didn't really connect with me so much.
Right. Yeah, music's kind of a seller.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a big deal for me.
Yeah, I was going to run for it. Number 2 is what we discussed just earlier, Wonder Boy 3, Dragon's Trap.
Oh, yeah?
The remake. Oh, God, I love that. I pretty much sat and finished it in one sitting.
Nice.
That's how much I'm like.
Yeah, it looks fantastic.
It's really well done. And the fact that they let you just press one button, you can switch between retro graphics and the new redrawn graphics was really nice. And the remixes of the music really kept the spirit. But had a really nice jive too. So like this, going, yeah, this is good. But then again, I used to play the hell out of it as a kid, so
yeah,
I couldn't help it. The nostalgia was there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then last but not least, I think on my end would probably be, and I have it on my shelf because you won't know, it's an import game, Gundam Breaker 3 Break Edition.
Nice.
Giant mechs beating the crap out of each other.
It's always fun.
How could you go
Loads
wrong?
of fun.
No kidding.
Yeah. And to explain this one, basically, best way to put it is it's like a video game in a video game of sorts, and you basically like take part in tournaments and such. And the story was garbage. I'm throwing out the story was garbage, but the action was great, and the fact that you could beat the crap out of the others, pick up their armor parts, and actually use them on your own one, or to use it to improve your own one. And that was me walking around like a big giant teddy bear before the end of it. But I ended up finishing like 3 or 4 times. And again, music was really good. Like the first mission, there's the music that really makes you, I'm ready for this. But yeah, that covers my top 5 of the year.
Different games, definitely something different than I've got. I was kind of curious if we would ever have like any of us have the same game anyway.
Yeah.
We probably will, I think. Well, all right, Todd, go ahead.
Okay. Well, my number 5 would have to be, I'm going to say Call of Duty, the one I'm playing, Call of Duty World War II. That's I like the story. I'm glad they went back to World War II. Like usually most time when you're playing the game, they don't show your character. Well, this time it's kind of like they spun out, and the cutscene involves your character. Everything seems more, cinematic instead of in your face. Like I like that. It's like it tells a way better story this time. Plus, Fergie's husband's in it, so it's pretty awesome. But anyway, that's number 5. The zombies are great in it too this time. That's a big draw for me. Number 4 would have to be Uncharted Lost Legacy and the downloadable content for it. That was really cool. Just the amount of time they spent making this game look awesome. It's beautiful, beautiful game. And it was fun to play as Chloe and see, I don't know, just a different part of it. Like, to me, it let me know that Uncharted can still survive without it being about Nathan Drake.
Yeah.
You can just stay in that universe, and that's good because I don't want Uncharted to go away. They're fun games, So,
I agree.
Number 3. I'm on number 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. This one's like my top 3 are kind of a toss up. Number 1 is the solid one, I'm pretty sure, but number 2 and 3, I guess. Okay, I'm just gonna go Resident Evil 7. I loved that freaking game.
Okay.
It was a return to excellence for that series to me. Even though I didn't play much in VR because I don't think I could handle it. It was just the way they did their boss battles. It was scary again.
Yeah.
Awesome game. Now the top 2 is a tough one because I really enjoyed both these games.
Okay.
But I'm going to go with number 2 being Hellblade. That game was just such a big surprise, and just, I don't know, man. Like it's hard to put it at number 2 and not number 1.
Mm-hmm.
But that game was just freaking awesome. The way they did the voices in the head, just the visuals in that game, I guess the gameplay itself was solid. It could have felt, they could have really just jacked that gameplay up. It could have felt clunky as just all get out, but it didn't. It felt smooth. It just you had to figure it out,
Yeah.
So that was awesome. But number 1, Horizon Zero Dawn, hands down. That game was just, I spent 60 hours. I got the platinum for it. Still haven't played the downloadable content yet, but I will. And that game, it's a beautiful game. I'm looking forward to sequels, just a saga or whatever they want to create in that universe. They've made something pretty awesome, I think.
I'd say it'll be another year or so before
Yeah.
we see anything. But that's good. It'll let the wait die down.
Yeah. I'm
Get you
hoping
excited.
it's not coming anytime soon because I don't want it to be oversaturated.
No.
Take your time and do it right.
I agree.
Kind of thing.
Awesome.
Your turn.
All right, my turn. Well, we're going to have 2 overlaps.
Okay, that's good though.
Number 5 on my list was Resident Evil 7.
Okay.
Because it was a nice return to the horror franchise, something new, something fresh, definitely fun, if not exhausting in VR. I did that for at least a few hours, and it was intense. It really was, and that just, I felt like, added to the entire experience of the intensity they added to it, because if getting into the third dimension with these characters
Oh my God.
just adds to the intensity, then they've done something right, because
Oh,
it was still already unnerving and terrifying in 2D. You know?
It was I when I played it when I played the that first hour demo, I knew right away I'm not playing this in VR.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do this.
But it was intense. The whole experience was intense. So, I definitely agree with you. Return to form. They've definitely done something. I like that they decided to just go in a completely new direction.
Yeah.
And that's what kind of helped revitalize the franchise, I believe. So hopefully they'll continue that formula. Maybe not forever, but again, reinvent it every 3 games if you need to.
Yeah, that's probably what they'll do, these 3 games, and then they'll do something different. I hope they don't go back to crap.
Yeah. Number 4 on my list, and it's on my list because I have no doubt it's going to be a great game, even though I haven't played it. And I guess the reason it's number 4 is because I haven't played it, but just everything I've seen of it, I want to play it so bad, and that's Super Mario Odyssey. Because this is a game that looks like Mario's return to form as well. A Mario game that I've been dying to play. I can't wait to get my hands on it. I know I'm going to spend hours upon hours playing this, and it's everything that I want. You know, it's everything I've wanted since Mario Galaxy 2. You know, it's been a while since I've had that, and I have no doubt that it's going to be a fun game. I've seen everybody enjoying it that has played it, so I definitely had to put it on the list because I'm anticipating just playing it, watching everyone else play it, you know, and I have no doubt it's going to be fun. But that's the reason it's also a little lower on my list, is because I haven't. So that was only fair. Number 3 on my list would be Super Hot for VR. If you've never played Super Hot in VR, this as I have stated numerous times on the show, this is what VR was made for. That idea, this is the concept in which it just needs to be done properly. It's perfect for VR by every stretch. It's everything that it needs to be, and I can't get enough. You know, it's intense, you know, and I still haven't finished it. But when you're in there and you're playing it and you're just being a badass, you're being Neo from the Matrix.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to say it.
John Wick.
But it's so perfect in that regard. So it just makes you feel like the ultimate badass. And what more could you ask in that situation?
What I liked about it was how natural it felt to do everything.
Yeah. You just kind of observe your surroundings, say, all right, what do I need to do? And then you just work at it. There's no wrong way to do it. There's no right way to do it. You just react.
Gotta do it.
Super
Yeah.
hot.
So
Super.
I played the non-VR version, and even that, really enjoyed playing the hell out of it.
yeah, I've kind of wondered that too, because I think they said that the non-VR version had a few extra levels to it. So I would still like to try that out.
Feature.
Yeah. But
Have you read that thing?
yeah. But
Get
it's
the chat room feature for a while. It just cracks me up.
But it's definitely one of my top 5 of the year. My top 2, I had to debate on this.
It's
And
tough.
you probably know what my number 1 is going to be just based on my number 2. But my number 2 is Cuphead, because that game was a labor of love that is so gorgeous, so wonderful. The music, the sound design, the gameplay, as tough as it is, it's a return to old school platforming, going back to Mega Man and things like that. And I'm a sucker for Mega Man games. They were tough.
They were
And
so
I think
hard.
a lot of gamers don't seem to realize how hard these games were. So when they're thrust into a game like Cuphead, which goes back to that, they're they're taken aback.
And they quit.
By it. Yeah, and they can't handle it.
Prepared.
Now, at the same time, I will say there are times that I feel like this game can be a little over difficult, just like the difficulty depending on what the situation is, because there are some bosses I would get to and I would take them out like it was no problem. But then I would get to another one, it was just constant over and over and over. It's like, what am I doing wrong here? Like, you're just being punished. And I couldn't quite figure out what that was, but maybe it was just the formula that I was fighting for the easier one. I could just figure out better versus what this one's throwing at me. Maybe it's too much, or I'm just not getting it yet. But whatever it is, despite that, it's something that has never been done before in gaming that I've seen. To hand draw every frame and to recreate those old 1930s cartoons.
That's beautiful.
Everything about it is just so perfect.
It is. It really is.
It's just, it's amazing. And I can't give it enough love. It's just, I love everything about it. The music, the look, everything. So, but
it all fit together so well.
Yes, absolutely.
And it looks just like one of those cartoons.
And even one misstep would have taken it all down. It would have just taken you out of it, but they didn't. They never missed a mark with that, with every little design. So,
well, I think it's awesome that Microsoft allowed them the time to do it, because a lot of times you see Microsoft will rush something out.
Yeah, this was a game that did not need to be rushed by any means, and you can tell that they had a lot of time to spend on it, and it was perfect the way they did it. So. Yeah. But that being said, as much as I'm gushing about that, Horizon Zero Dawn is also my top one because it was a gorgeous game, is a great story. The difficulty level was not as vicious as it could be. But it was difficult. Now he was talking about he didn't play the DLC. The DLC, I got in playing that, and they did not skimp on the difficulty. If you were maxed out at level 50, they're like, it doesn't matter. You're still going to get your ass handed to you, because they threw new enemies at you that were more vicious than everything you'd fought. So you always had to keep moving and fighting, and it was intense.
And it was cold.
Yeah, very, very cold.
Yeah.
But the fact that you had this new game come on the scene, because I remember when I first saw it, I think at an E3, I didn't want to say I was dismissive of it, but it was just like, okay, this is interesting. Well, and I didn't think anything about it. I wasn't wowed by it.
Exactly.
At first.
Yeah.
It was just like, okay. I just felt like it was going to be a throwaway game that maybe it'll be okay. Right. And then you just kind of play it, and then it was just like, well, it was kind of fun, but it had its flaws, blah, blah, blah. But no, it didn't. It was just, everything about it was just so fine-tuned. The story, I think, was the biggest attraction to me, because it followed through with a great story. This was an idea that could have fallen flat, and you just be like, well, that was kind of stupid. But once you actually see what the story was, it's very intriguing. And I think a lot of AAA games today don't have a story that's as solid as that.
Like so gameplay is great, looks good, but then the story lacks.
Yeah,
there's always something. And they got everything right in that game.
Yeah, everything about the story in this was just phenomenal. Even the addition to the Frozen Wilds was a great addition to it. I don't really feel like it padded the story and added anything, but it was a nice moment to get away and see some other portion of the world, just to kind of go out and explore something new. And it was still fun. So I'm not faulting the DLC or anything, but I feel like it earns the top spot for the game of the year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but that's just me.
But in reality, Zelda's gonna get it.
And I could have put Breath of the Wild on this list as well, like I did with Super Mario Odyssey, but I don't feel like that I do want to play it. It's a Zelda game, I really do. But my excitement for that game has not been what it has been for Super Mario Odyssey, and I don't know why. I really don't. It does look fantastic.
I think the Zelda doesn't. It's still Zelda.
Yeah.
It's just a little beefier Zelda to me. And the Mario Odyssey, that's a different Mario.
Yeah.
Horizon Zero Dawn, that's different,
I think what makes Mario Odyssey to me seem so much more appealing is the fact that they're taking the formula that we all know and love about the collecting the stars or whatever, and granted it's moons this time, but now it's in an open world setting. Something we've never really seen for a Mario game. Now, granted, there are different worlds, but each world is like an open world setting. Mm-hmm. So all you do is go there and you collect all these things. You're not having to set yourself up for one particular thing to do, going in and out of a world like you did on previous games. This is like, well, here's a world, and go find them. And then, you just enjoy it.
Yeah.
And that's appealing to me. Zelda, on the other hand, it looks like it's a massive world from what I've seen. It does look fun. I do want to play it, but I don't know. My excitement has just not been through the roof saying, gosh, I've got to go play this game. Mario was a kind of a console seller to me, just like I was saying No More Heroes. This is a game I want to play, and I would kind of almost buy the system for it. But I will play Breath of the Wild.
I can understand that.
Yeah, I will play Breath of the Wild. I've never missed out on a Zelda game, but it's just, I don't know.
It should just come to PS4, I think.
Well, that's never going to happen. Nintendo hell will freeze over before
you
that
got
happens.
Oceanhorn. Just go play Oceanhorn, dude.
Oceanhorn?
That game sucks.
Actually, that's a pretty solid game, actually.
I didn't like it.
Well, it's not
You
for
didn't like
everybody.
it? Yeah. I mean, at least it tried to be a Zelda.
Yeah,
It tried to
I
be
will say
a
that,
Zelda,
yeah.
but without being Zelda.
Mm-hmm.
And it was close. It was actually an enjoyable experience for many that did play it, at least.
I think that's what got me.
Let's face it.
That's what got me on that game
Zelda,
was
it's not on a Zelda platform, so it's like...
Yeah. Well, guys, anybody out there listening, if you think you have a better Game of the Year list, by all means, comment wherever you are and let us know what your favorite games of the year are.
Please.
We'd love to see what you got. Or if you disagree with us, which I'm sure a lot of you will, please let us know. It would be fun.
They won't.
They won't. All right, well, I'm going to close out the show. Thank you, everyone, for listening to us on whatever platform you choose. We appreciate whatever love comes our way. Comment, like we were just saying, wherever you want. Let us know what you think. Sometimes we like to change things up, whether it be in different settings, different guests, whatever. Let us know what you think of the show. We can't change anything if we don't know what we're doing right or wrong. You can join our Facebook page, start topics, head over to Redbubble, buy a t-shirt, show some support. You can also go to patreon.com/pencillinepaperproductions to donate $1 or $2, help support this show and many other shows that we produce. Thank you again for listening. I'm Stephen White.
I'm Todd Stark.
Kouen, it's great having you here, man.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks so much for having me, guys. You're all awesome.
Thank you so much for joining us. Join us again next time. But until then, game on.